ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Rush Hour on ET Now with me, Sumita Karir. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll be taking you through the top stories that we're tracking from the world of finance, business, economics, politics, and of course, geopolitics. So let's then begin with this piece of news that's coming in from Commerce Ministry. Well, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal is in Europe this week on a 5-day official tour that's aimed at boosting trade ties. He's visiting France currently from 1st till the 5th of June, and of course he will be visiting India after his France visit comes to a halt. In fact, this visit is aimed at strengthening the economic partnership that India has with nations of the European Union. This is also aimed at giving an impetus to European Union and India FTA negotiations. Remember, Piyush Goyal, the minister, is expected to have engagements with trade ministers of UK, Singapore, Saudi Arabia, Israel, Nigeria and Brazil. He will be meeting the French Minister of Economy to strengthen the Indo-French economic partnership so that new avenues could be explored for enhancing investment. And of course, just today we're given to understand from Commerce Ministry that Minister Goyal met with leaders from L'Oreal, Total Energies and Renault Group, amongst others. As far as his meetings with European officials go, well, he's expected to meet with the Commissioner for Trade and Economic Security and the European Commissioner for Agriculture and Food as well. Remember, the India-EU FTA talks gained momentum after the 11th round of negotiations that concluded on May the 16th. In fact, both sides are expecting at a comprehensive trade deal of finalizing that by the end of 2025. So that's the big news that's coming in on trade and commerce front. The minister on a visit to France and Italy over the next 4 days. Meanwhile, some big news also coming in on the Russia-Ukraine war front. While delegations from Russia and Ukraine are in Turkey for the second round of direct peace talks in just over 2 weeks. The Turkish foreign minister opened the meeting. The Ukrainian delegation is led by defense minister and Russian delegation is headed by the aide to Russian leader Vladimir Putin. In fact, this is coming in just hours after Ukraine pulled off its longest range drone attack, striking deep into the Russian territory and reportedly destroying 40 warplanes across 4 air bases. It was codenamed as Operation Spider Web. In fact, the year-and-a-half-long mission hit reportedly Russia's nuclear-capable bombers using drones that were launched from hidden truck sheds. In retaliation, Russia also launched its largest drone swarm attack. Meanwhile, a bridge explosion in a border town that killed 7 as both sides, they are escalating attacks on each other just ahead of these peace talks. My colleague Rishabh has more details on this developing story. Rishabh, the timing of these attacks is particularly significant given that they are coming in just hours before these talks begin in Turkey.
Sumita, if we talk about the second round of talks, it has just concluded in Istanbul in Turkey. And remember, this comes a day after the whole, Pearl Harbor moment, if we can call it, for Russia, the way Ukrainian drones penetrated inside the Russian territory and the way the drones hit the damage. Unconfirmed reports suggest that around 5 air bases of Russia in various parts, including one in Serbia, was hit. About 40 of their platforms have been destroyed. This is what the Ukraine claim is. Russia says that there were drones that were seen at 3 air bases. They were shot down. At 2, they have done some damages. While Ukraine claims on casualty as well, Russia denies any casualty. Having said that, even after all this, over the weekend, today in Istanbul, both the sides did sit down for the peace talks, the second round since May. Since the May, this was both the sides talking. While the Kremlin say that the war and negotiations can go on simultaneously, quoting Napoleon Bonaparte, it is very interesting to see how and what the outcomes of this second round of talk would be. Having said that, we also need to understand that it is not something that will stop here. This has changed the whole facade of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and we saw when Ukraine did such a similar offensive in October last year as well. How Russia responded this time also, we expect Russia responding in a similar manner.
Absolutely, Rishabh. Thank you very much for putting these talks into context. And of course, these developments, ladies and gentlemen, that we're seeing from both Ukraine and Russia. We will be discussing this with our guests who will be joining us. Experts will be joining us at 8:30 tonight on India Tonight. But definitely a big escalation that happened just ahead of talks in Turkey. In fact, these were the second round of direct peace talks in just over 2 weeks between Russia and Ukraine. Moving on.